generation. Go by the Navy Yard tonight and ask yourself whether or not you are doing what the people need in this country. The answer is, if you're not bringing up this bill, you're not. No bill, no brain.
Again, but that's okay. That's okay.
I got you.
Go, Scott!
Gregory Meeks.
Oh, great.
Talk to us.
Today the world is watching. Today the world is watching. They're observing what we're
le cortaron también.
doing today.
So much for fucking Obama.
And at a
No, it's the wrong.
Okay.
time when we were nervous, voices were silent. The world was saying, what's going on in these United States of America? Where is the democracy for which they lead? Why are they allowing their people to die? I must admit that it was just a weeks ago where I had my hopes up at a memorial service for Muhammad Ali. When I was at that memorial service with my friend John Yarmouth, and I know Maxine Waters was there, we saw this nation coming together. We saw people, Native Americans, African Americans, Hispanic, whites, Jews, Muslims, Christians, all there memorializing the life of a man who decided that he had to stand up and speak out no matter what the cost. And I had pride in that. Just a short time thereafter, we had the horrible shootings in Orlando, Florida. My heart was heavy. I was headed to D.C. but could not make it here. I heard about in New York, the LGBTs getting together in the village. I said, I can't come down to another place in Washington, D.C. just to hear a moment of silence. Let me go where people's hearts were heavy. Let me go where folks were standing and said we need a vote to end this gun violence. And so I went there to renew my spirit. The same spirit that I had when I was in Louisville, Kentucky. And then we come back here and we didn't have a vote. And I got a word from John Lawson. I got a word from John Lewis. So let's get together. That it's time to get in the way. That it's time to make a difference. That it's time to let the American people know they do have a voice in this house. And tonight we hear this voice. And so as I listen to some, looking at social media, talking to some, they ask, well, why are we doing this? Some say you shouldn't do it. And I scratched my head. They said, why? They said you can't win. You don't have the votes. They said you must be crazy. They said you're wasting your time. Well, I come back and I say, when I looked at John Lewis in 1963, when he was almost beat to death, they said he couldn't do it either, but he didn't waste his time. That's why America's better today.
Right.
When I look at what took place in this country, once upon a time, they said women would not have the right to vote, and they didn't have the right to vote. But women stood up and made sure their voices were heard, and today they can vote in this place called the United States. I looked at what took place with reference to African Americans. They said they couldn't vote. In fact, the Constitution initially said there were only 2/3 of a human being, but we changed the Constitution. And so, I say today, as we look at what we're doing today, we can win and we will win. 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 I leave with this. And I said this earlier, but I just want to repeat it because someone said about the lessons that we teach our young people. So if you got a young person in a classroom and one young person has a stick and that one person is utilizing that stick against everybody in the classroom, what is the right thing to do? Do you take that stick or do you all give everybody in that class a stick? Well, common sense will tell you, you don't give everybody in class a stick. You take the stick from the one person that was trying to harm the rest. Let's take the guns from the people that are trying to harm everybody else. We will win.
Dr. Foster. Joe Foster. Well, thank you all for everything you've done tonight, and thank you also to my Republican colleagues who've stayed to listen to this important debate. We differ. We differ from our uncivilized ancestors, not by our DNA, but by our rule of law, our morality, and our science. The legal case and the moral case for stopping gun violence has been made by John Lewis and my Democratic colleagues with more eloquence than I can ever muster. Because the truth is that I represent my district in Illinois with all of the charisma of a typical PhD physicist. But the scientific fact is that gun violence is a preventable epidemic. The American Medical Association, the AMA, has called it a public health crisis. The American Society of Pediatrics has called for stronger gun laws and research into gun violence prevention. But Congress has prevented the Center for Disease Control from funding research even to start understanding the roots of gun violence. And as a scientist, I am disgusted that we are deliberately muzzling this important and productive area of scientific research, simply because the Republican majority in this House is afraid that they might not like the scientific answer. But you do not need to be a scientist to know that universal background checks with no exemption for internet sales are a good idea. And you do not have to be a scientist to understand that anyone on the terrorist no-fly list has no business buying guns. So the scientific conclusion is simple. Meaningful criminal and psychiatric background checks and no-fly, no-buy. Brad Sherman. Brad Sherman is recognized. Brad Sherman will be followed by Dave Lopsak.
Come on, Ryder.
John.
Mentiroso. Shut
I want
up.
to add my voice to all those who are saying no bill, no break. We don't have a microphone, do we? How did that happen? We are here occupying this floor not because we're stopping business, but because they're stopping business. The business of this House is to express.
I know it's hard, but try to have some class and some respect for your colleague.
Find the courage to.
The gentleman who interrupted should recognize that this should be a debate in the formal House. This microphone should work, the rules of order should apply, and then we should have a vote.
Yes.
The purpose of this House is not to